Dovetails, Deevstock's very own answer to Desert Island Discs, only with telly. My name is Dovetail and I'm your host. This is episode 4, and to welcome in the spring, who better than our resident celebrity couple, Tegan Palmer and Michael Joyce. Both live performers across the acoustic and electronic genres, Tegan and Mike are firm fixtures on the Deevstock Festival lineup, bringing us all the guitars and kazoos. They're kindly playing us into the show today with their amazing improvised studio jam recorded last month. So let's hear that before we get on with the interview. Welcome to Deevstock's celebrity couple, Michael Joyce and Tegan Palmer.
Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
Welcome to Dovetails. I'm really good, thank you. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. I felt like this morning was very Deevstock. We were due to jump on this call at 11. And then I was late, and then you were like, oh, we're having a bit of a slow start. And I was like, oh, I'll have a shower. And then I got out the shower, and then it was like, oh, can we make it 12 o'clock? So here we are. And it's actually after 12 o'clock now.
I think that's reasonable for a Saturday, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And I felt it was very kind of, Deevstock-esque, where you'd say, yeah, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to go for a walk. And no.
My bed. I've never made the yoga. Sorry, Sam.
No.
I have made yoga, but only because I was camping with Siobhan and Christoph the year that Christoph did it. And I was like, yes, I'm going to come to yoga. And I'm really glad I did, because that was my very first ever yoga class, and I loved it. And I've been doing it ever since. And I believe you have as well.
Yeah, like in a very sort of amateur sense. Yeah, we've been, we do yoga with Adrian, which I know Ben does as well. Like,
Do you see him on, is it a live class?
No, she's just whacked videos online.
Ah.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, it's quite, but yeah, it's been pretty helpful, I think.
It's great. I love it. After work, it's a really good replacement for like having a beer or something. Just like having a stretch is so nice, and it just finishes off the day so well. So yeah, I love it. I'm big with Adrian. It's very chirpy, but
cool. Yeah. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you was what you've been doing during the pandemic and lockdown. So apart from doing yoga, should we kick off with that, and then we can start talking about music in a minute.
Right, yeah. Go first.
What have we been doing? I don't know. Just it's what a year. It's been really long, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah, a lot of work. Like, yeah, we both are fortunate enough to have jobs where it doesn't really matter if we're in the office because it's just computer stuff and talking.
That's been a thing. And then all the other time in between, doing a bit of dressmaking. That's my new thing. I'm building clothes.
Building clothes, I love that.
I did this, yeah. It's kind of like, it's a bit like engineering, you know, like you just wouldn't think that those shapes are what goes together to kind of make a hem or like a collar or something. So yeah, I quite like it. I replaced jigsaw puzzles with it because that made me feel a little bit too old. So
you don't get anything at the end of the jigsaw puzzle. You just have to like
just put it away again.
Sort of a bit kind of sense of futility maybe. After putting in all the effort.
Whereas now I've got a set of really mad clothes that I'm just waiting for a festival so I can try them out.
Amazing. And Mike, you've been growing hair by the look of it.
Yeah, not like actively. It's just something that happens when you stop shaving. I think it's not like, it's not really a concerted effort. It was just like,
It's amazing. It's a really good one as well, isn't it? Were you surprised by that, or were you expecting it?
No, I'd never done it before, so I was like, "Wow, you know, there's nothing else to do, is there? Apart from sit around and grow hair." I'm quite surprised. Yeah, I mean, now I know that it's there. I can chop it all off, like, you know, at some point. Like, I think, as we get into summer, I think I'm going to be quite looking forward to getting some kind of haircut, like, because it's pretty hot, like, and all this. So it's great in the winter.
Yeah.
I think summertime. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tegan, your hair has done the same thing as mine's, like twice as long as it was. I just thought, I'll just let it grow. So and also everywhere, to be fair, because obviously we can't go and be waxed or anything. So anyway, there's enough about that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know, like, it's just sort of like, I think, you know, a lot of people feel pressure to conform, like, across a range of avenues, and then it's like, well, okay, take away. I think there's a lot of stuff like that that's been just taken away, like, you know, so you can do whatever you want, really.
I'd love to see what's happened in personal grooming products, because I know that when people started working from home, we will get to talk about music in a minute, but when people started working from home, most important, obviously body hair and personal grooming. When work from home first became a thing, you know, when the internet enabled that 10, 15 years ago, I know that there were reports of clothing manufacturers and personal care products reporting, you know, real changes in the products they were selling, because people weren't, I loved that, you know, people weren't bothering to get dressed to go to work. No.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I saw a Japanese manufacturers making clothes which are like a shirt from here to here, and then below just pajamas, like all the way down.
They have like a square tie. It just cuts off when the screen cuts off.
Exactly it. Luckily, I haven't had to wear a shirt to work for a while anyway. But
I usually leave my camera off, to be honest, in calls. I'll just
Well, I'm glad you've left it on today, because it's been lovely. It's lovely to see you, because we chat a lot over WhatsApp, but it's really nice to see your faces. And let's talk about some music. We, as always on Dovetails, are going to feature 3 of your favorite tracks each. So I know this is a really difficult ask, and you actually did really well, and you came up with stuff really quickly, which I think is probably the best approach, rather than massively overthinking it. So who's going to go first, and what are we going to hear, and why?
Shall I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right then, because I think you let us know on Thursday we needed to do this, and we hadn't thought about it, and that gave me an initial like major panic, where I was like, it's not enough time, and then as soon as I stopped panicking, I realised that 3 songs is quite easy in the world of songs, and so many songs.
Yeah.
So my first pick is one from which came out last year. It's by Ego LMA. It's called Girls Don't Always Think About Boys. I heard it on Radio 6 Music, and every now and then a song just kind of makes you stop and listen. I really listened to this one because the lyrics are amazing. She's it's really difficult to find out anything about her, but I think she's a South London artist, and obviously she's of the kind of new generation who are just not just singing about boys. She's very the lyrics are really beautiful. She's clearly very woke, and I love her. I think it's amazing. And the sound is just so cool and trip hoppy, and the whole album is really worth a listen. It's called Honey for the Wounds, I think. And it's lush.
Girls don't always sing about boys. What if I wanna talk about suffering? In the ocean, plastic happening. Would anybody listen at all if I don't parade in a bra? Only to get my point across. I don't always think about boys, but I hear love is the only thing worth fighting for. As well as loving the same sex, sanitary kits for homelessness, grandfather mental health for all. We'll go to school and then get married and start a family. And I'll go to school and then get married and start a family. The cycle continues. When we don't question what we're into, we'll go to school and then get married and start a family. And I'll go to school and then get married and start a family. The cycle continues. When we don't question what we're into, girls don't always sing about boys, even though it's what sells and what's relatable. I mean, who doesn't wanna cry to a song about getting your heart broke? 'Cause you'll sing all the words that you never spoke or couldn't. I can't always think about boys, 'cause I've been reading about air pollution, sustainable fashion, learned behaviors, why it all happened. So I guess I'll raise the issues with a nice beat behind me, singing it sweet so you'll still buy me, as I rethink the norm. Like, go to school and then get married and start a family. And they'll go to school and then get married and start a family. The cycle continues. When we don't question what we're into, we'll go to school and then get married and start a family. And they'll go to school and then get married and start a family. The cycle continues. Oh, the cycle. When we don't question what we're into, don't you question, don't you? Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, no, no.
So if we wanted to get hold of that track and that album, where would we do so?
She's on Spotify, obviously, although if you want to actually support an artist,
Yeah.
there are probably much better ways to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, but it's probably worth checking Bandcamp, isn't it?
Yeah, she's probably got a Bandcamp page, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been having an amazing time with Bandcamp lately. I find it incredibly difficult to navigate. and consequently I find all sorts of random things, because it's a bit like shopping in TK Maxx or a charity shop. If you want something, you ain't going to find it. But if you just go in and go, right, what's in here today, you come up with some gems.
Yeah, I think that's where Spotify is amazing, like is the kind of recommendation algorithm, like, and they've got this kind of the whole payment structure is just mad, and like they've got like a 54 billion stock market valuation. You think, what, like, were global album sales like ever that much, like, and just have some, please. Like, but I think like for that bit alone as a music discovery tool, it's really excellent. Like,
they never just throw you like a curveball, do they? Well, they rarely do.
Sometimes they do. Yeah, I don't know. I think the more you interact with it, the better it gets. But I think if you can then go away and support the artists, like, directly, I think that's good.
That's a subject close to my heart, is paying for the music that we listen to. I think probably all of us feel like that. So how did you get into music? This is the first kind of couples one we've done, so I'm not sure how we're going to play this. In fact, maybe we should start with, how did you two meet? Because that's a question that Ben wanted to know, and I certainly want to know, and I don't think I do know. You may have told me, but I may not have remembered. So how did you two meet?
I think first time at university, like I don't know how many years ago, that would have been probably like 15 years ago or something. But we weren't really sort of in the same social group. We're sort of in like barely intersecting, so it probably went to the same parties. You probably came to some of my parties.
Definitely did, yeah.
We had some big parties at university.
Mike was one of the households that had the really massive houses in Leamington Spa, where it's like used to be some kind of really grand house with like people upstairs and servants below, and now it's just full of like grotty students
having
outrageous parties.
Yeah.
So, you had one.
Wow. That sounds great.
Yeah, we had built like a stage and like put PA system in the living room. And like one of them we had like 2 rooms, like, so 2 PAs, those were good times.
Basically a club.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think because like Leamington was like, there wasn't like loads going on in terms of like clubs, but it's kind of quite like a close knit student community.
Is this Warwick? Did you go to Warwick?
Warwick, yeah. And then like a lot of people, you either live in Leamington or Coventry. Coventry is kind of convenient for the university, but Leamington sort of seems to be this really kind of interesting place where it's quite an aesthetically pleasing place.
It is, yeah. I've got family that live there.
And then there's quite a lot of like the house party scene is like really good, or it seemed that way when I was that age. Maybe I'd go back now. We actually went back recently and then saw the drunk students around, like having their tiffs, like kind of, and like, and thinking, like that everything's really important. And I guess maybe you always look back at like those times, when you would go through something, you feel how the gravity of it, but then looking back, even now, I'm sure we'll look back at like the things we're stressing about now, like, and think like, what? Shut up.
I'm just thankful I remember anything these days, to be fair. So it's got to that stage. So you met at uni, but didn't get together then, or
I guess we like, it was kind of after university when, like, because like loads of people lived in London, like, and then there was another like house called Canning Town House, which was like kind of a bit of a dossy party house.
There's a theme here.
The last bastion of everyone living together. I think we still have parallel friendship groups that kind of saw more and more of each other, and it became over time it became a thing. It was we both had other partners at the time, so it was kind of
we didn't get together until like at least a year after we split up with other people. It was a bit complicated, and
Oh, that sounds very intriguing. But the big question, of course, is, Tegan, were you silent or were you silenced?
I didn't get that. What do they mean?
I'm glad you didn't, because it must mean that you didn't watch the bloody awful royal thing on Oprah. That's where it came from. I didn't watch it, but I saw a clip. And otherwise, I wouldn't have had a clue what it was. That was Ben, wasn't it, that put that on Facebook? Right, okay, it did make me giggle, because Yeah, she was talking about, it was Meghan Markle talking about how she'd always been really outspoken on feminist issues and women's rights. And as soon as she became part of the royal family, she was silent. And then Oprah leans forward and says, were you silent or were you silenced?
Yeah.
Shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I haven't watched it either.
No.
People at work are talking about it a lot. There's been a lot of virtual water cooler chat. Obviously, it's very important from
You work with
from an anti-racist
well, right?
perspective. Yeah. My our finance team were very no, she didn't kind of about it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty torn on the issue of it. Yeah, it's both wildly important and also just it encapsulates kind of so many things that I feel like, Hollywood and the royal family and things, or the cult of celebrity, I kind of feel like can just go away and do it over there. But as an issue of race, it's really important. So
yeah, I think that's and to be fair, I think Oprah does things really well. Very good. So maybe we should go and watch it. So what's your first piece of music, Mike?
Yeah, I remember actually. I was going to look at what I've written down because I forgot. I think it's Way Out by Apparat and Ellen Alien, and can't remember where I first heard it. It was just something that floated around at university for a bit. There was like some really great, like obviously like maybe it's just because I was paying attention. There's always really good music, but it's quite like an emotive time of life and like lots of parties and lots of quite intense sort of friendships and stuff. And that was just like a quite standout track because it's sort of like I quite like it. It's like a hybrid between it's got like kind of live instrumentation and also it's kind of very electronica. And it's got that kind of Scandinavian, electronica sound, which is kind of really quite cold and
brilliant. So very much like your influences, really, on your
a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I've got I think I like so many different things. Like, I like. It depends what mood I'm in, really. But I like Apparat has been doing some amazing stuff recently. I don't know if you saw The Dark, like on Netflix. But
no, I didn't.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, the theme song to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I do like them. Yeah.
Just really go, whoa, holy shit. Like, I'm just going to take all my music stuff into the garden and just have a bonfire. It's just now, so I'll give up now.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm just joking. I would prefer, it is really
Please
good.
don't do that. Okay, so let's listen to It's Way Out by Ellen Alien and Apparat. about your musical histories then. Tegan, what's your earliest memories of music, and what was your first music purchase and first gig and that kind of thing?
So my first gig, I'm okay with that. I'm proud to say my mum is a massive music buff, and she has, and my dad as well. And my mum proudly states that she went. Her deafness is due to being too close to the stiff little fingers, and she's like proper pogoing type skinhead, and but not in a racist way. She always makes that very clear. So she took me to my first gig when I was about 10, which was Pulp, which was very cool.
Oh, that is very cool.
It was very cool, and I got put on someone's shoulders because I couldn't see anything, which is still the case today.
I was just about to say that's probably quite handy to do now, wouldn't it?
Really helpful, yeah. Sometimes it happens, and it's an absolute dream.
I can lift you up sometimes to see a thing.
Get a little bit, get a lift. I mean, I'm down and dancing most of the time. It doesn't bother me too much, but sometimes it's nice to have some visuals. That was so that was pretty cool. The first album I bought with my own money, I think, was Spiced by the Spice Girls. So,
that's okay.
Not so good. But
how old would you have been then?
I guess I would have been 8 or 9, maybe.
Oh, so, wow, that's quite young, isn't it?
It is quite young. But my family's very musical. They're all mostly players of guitars and things. So I've been playing the guitar since I was about 11, although I'm very on and off because I'm a bit flaky with it. But it's always kind of been there.
Yes, because obviously for people who don't know, you are a mainstay of the acoustic set at Deevstock, and of course spent years in training to be a virtuoso kazoo player.
Well, I'm most proud of my kazoo work, actually.
You were also in The Sound of Music, weren't you, when you were...
I used to do musical theatre when I was a little kid.
I thought you meant the actual film. I was like, how?
How? Born about 1955.
She was the child baby in the background. No, what was it? Who was it with? You always someone famous. So I can't remember.
When I was Gretel, Amanda Holden was Liesel at the Bournemouth there. So that's a claim to fame, isn't it?
Oh yes.
But that was quite important.
So music was a big part of your childhood then, and singing as well.
Yeah, very much singing.
Yeah. What about you, Michael?
I don't know. Like, I guess a bit similar. Like both my parents are into the music. Like, Dad plays guitar. And my mum, my mum loves music as well. And they had a really excellent record collection, which would get played, quite loudly sometimes growing up. Big influences. And also my older brother Joe, who didn't kind of grow up. He was like a half brother. He didn't grow up with us, but he's like a few years ahead of me. And he grew up in London, and he would always kind of bring up exotic kind of electronic. I guess just playing kind of really early drum and bass and stuff as I was growing up. I had quite a rich
he was kind of a name on the scene. A few years later, wasn't he?
Yeah, he used to play big illegal raves in London, and kind of came up with a lot of people who are sort of famous now. But then sort of fell out. And he's as he's got older, his tempos he came through breakbeat and had some breakbeat releases, and then into sort of techno, and then into sort of quite kind of chilled out dub techno, and then he's kind of that as he's grown up, he's come down with BPMs a bit. You can see he's an exceptionally talented music producer, and he always also he so I think my mum and dad, they got me a keyboard when I was, must have been 8 years old or something. So I had some early piano lessons. My mum got sick and she couldn't take me for a while. And Dad was he was quite busy working, so I dropped out of lessons. But this keyboard, it had a little kind of 8-track recorder thing in it. So, used to sit around making tracks on that. And I remember my dad used to sit up late as well, making tracks on this. It's just a kind of very rudimentary synthesizer thing. Then started guitar at 12. Just playing around at school and stuff with various people.
So what was the first bit of music you bought? Can you remember?
I think, so it's a toss-up really, because one of them was with my mum, and I don't know if I shows it all, you know, because I had on vinyl, I used to have like the Ghostbusters theme tune when I was really little.
Yeah.
Quite important. Yeah.
And maybe a Michael Jackson one, but I'm not sure I particularly bought those. But probably the first one I remember buying in a shop was like Prodigy, Fat of the Land.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
That is
and that was
cool.
probably I can't remember how old I was, and like maybe like 11 or 12. But yeah, I remember because yeah, again, like Prodigy was something like my brother would play when he came to stay with us, like, you know, like Charlie says, always tell your mum, all that stuff. Like,
Tell your mum where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so and also living with dad, like we like learned to play guitar and like, you know, we jammed together. And then mum, she went off as a mature student to art university, so she came back like in the 90s, like, you know, when it, like, I don't know, that felt like a bit of a golden time for music, maybe again because I was receptive to it, like, you know, and kind of but yeah, she would come back, you know, I'd hang out with all the cool art students with loads of recommendations and like mixtapes and stuff like that. And then she actually took me to my first gig, which was well, again, yeah, similar, but that was like Supergrass. Pretty good. And she lied about how old I was. So
I think you the pair of you sound like you have the coolest parents ever.
Yeah, they are
cool.
pretty cool. But yeah, we're quite lucky.
You have to try quite hard to compete, don't we?
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, you've never brought them along to a Deevstock. Is there a limit? That's a limit, is it?
That's true.
I reckon I reckon they would all have a great time. I think. Like,
well, Mum's not so into the electronic music though, is she? She's quite a stalwart for an electric guitar and and a real life drum kit. So I'm not sure if she would dig it that much.
Who was it? We went to take them to see.
We saw the oh yeah, she liked that.
Yeah.
This is going to be very boring television when we try and remember.
See, this is why a real problem with names, like, which is I know what I like. I just forget names.
They really enjoyed we saw like the chorus. They go to a lot of festivals, but more like less electronic stuff. But like they love the correspondence. I mean, I don't know if you've seen them, like a big festival kind of big festival band where it's like a DJ in the background and then a bloke in a unitard just dancing like a lunatic at the front. And they're worth a listen. So they like stuff like that, which kind of veers towards drum and bass. But I think maybe Deevstock will be a bit of a baptism of fire for them. Perhaps there's an intermediate festival we can take them to slowly show them the
yes. Yes, you're desperate to find it out. You're like, you're desperate to find out what the name was. So
Emily Wells.
Yeah, it was Emily Wells.
Emily Wells. Okay.
Yeah, she's pretty good. But if it is her, like, caveat, check out Emily Wells. It's kind of quite good. Yeah, again.
Let's have another bit of music. Tegan, what's your second track?
My second track is another amazing female artist, which is Tune Yards. I love Meryl. She is an absolute diamond. She just makes me extremely happy. And this one is Water Fountain, which is, and again, another song that I think I heard on the radio, but just like you have to, well, my third track is a song that I had to pull over in the car in order to listen to in full. This one was when I used to live on a houseboat. So I remember I was driving the boat and it came on the radio and I had to pull over the boat in order to dance around and listen to Meryl doing Water Fountain, which is just an amazing tune.
My last track's a car track as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No water in the water fountain. No sign on the sidewalk. If you say, oh my yeah, what you doing there? Nothing much to do when you're going nowhere. Woo-ha, gotcha. We're gonna get the water from your house, your house. No water in the water fountain. No wood in the woodstock. And you say, oh my yeah, what you doing there? Nothing cherry pie. He gave me $1, a blood-soaked dollar. I cannot get the spot out, but it's okay, it still works in the store. Greasy man, come and dig my well. Life without your water is a burning hell. Stuff me up with your homegrown rice. Anything make me shit nice. Seconds on me one, seconds on me one. And a 2-pound chicken tastes better with friends. A 2-pound chicken tastes better with two. And I know where to find you. So listen to the words I say. Let it sink into your head. A birdie go round and round and round. Now I'm in your bed. How did I get ahead? Woo! Run your fingers through my hair. Fingers through my hair. Give me a dress, give me a breath. I'll give a thing incorrect. Would ya listen to the words I say? Sound like a flow bouquet. I live it go round and round and round and round. Okay, take a picture of it and let's all get. Run your fingers through my hair. Do it till you disappear. Give me a head, give me a head. I'm gonna say. No water in the water fountain. Flow bouquet. I live it go round and round and round and round. Okay, take a picture of it and let's all get. And you say fingers there. Doing what you do when you go nowhere. We're gonna get the water from your house, your house. Gotta get the water from your house, your house. Gotta get the water from your house, your house. Gotta get the water from your house, your house.
So what about, I mean, you've pretty much answered this. I was going to ask you how you got into dance music, but I mean, Mike, it seems like it's always been there. You've been brought up on it in
Little bit.
lots of ways.
Yeah, and yeah, probably credit to credit lots of people, like, but certainly I had a really cool GCSE music teacher called Mr. Rock, like
Mr. Rock?
yeah. And,
No
like,
way.
yeah, and he played the rock organ as well, like, and actually, like, so I got into, oh man, it was just, that was when I really fell in love with music, I think, over that time, like, and they had like a drum kit in the room, and I learned jamming around on the drums. I'd play drums and he'd play like "Come On Baby, Light My Fire" by the Doors on the rock organ, like all 3 layers going, like, and it was just really good fun. And then he like, it was like a mobile, like, and he kitted it out, like he basically, I don't know if he got permission, but he, like, cut a hole in like the walls, so like the back utility room, where he'd stick the exercise books and then like put a load of like recording equipment in there and studio gear, and then like that's where I learned, like, I first came across like Cubase and stuff like that.
Wow.
And then similarly, my brother actually worked, like, we used to work for Steinberg, and then he went to work for Native Instruments, now he works for Ableton, but he would drip feed me bits of kit, like, software and like an interface, and like over the years, I slowly kind of built up a collection of stuff, but I think my first taste of production was probably like maybe like I must be 15, and then I made a drum and bass album, which is somewhere. Like,
we should dig that out.
It's like I made it in like Ray VJ or something, but like, which is like software designed for just like using their pre-made loops, but it's actually got like hidden in it a sequencer, and you can chuck stuff into the sequencer and re-jumble it up and then cut and paste audio in it. Like, so I actually made like loads of tracks, and like of those loads of tracks, like I think somewhere there's like a drum and bass album which survives, which I made when I was like 16.
That's amazing. I feel like we need to listen to that.
It's the reason we've got about 6 dead computers in the loft, because they've all in there somewhere got some little nugget of music on some arcane software, which is
so we're probably not likely to be able to dig it out to listen to on this then.
Yeah.
So Tegan, how about your introduction into dance music?
just going to parties really and having a good old knees up, I think. The town I kind of grew up in, it's next door to the village where my parents live. It's a town called Wimborne, which is
in Dorset.
town. That's right, yeah.
I don't think of Wimborne as being a party town, I have to say.
Well, it's got a good little underbelly of like mad people and weirdos, and a good little outdoor rave scene occasionally. So yeah, it's quite, I mean, I guess anywhere in the countryside, right? There's nothing to do except for either go out in a field and dance or roll around in a hay bale, or those kind of things. That's just what there is. It's available. So that's what we used to do. And yeah, quite a few people are there's a lot of accomplished musicians around there as well, both electronic and acoustic stylings. So when I started working in the pub at like 18, I was adopted by the mad people and taken off to all the parties. It was brilliant. Yeah.
That explains quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Adopted by the mad people at 18.
I love the mad people.
Yes.
They're the good ones. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I count myself among them. Yeah.
They get quite a lot of people coming through as well, don't they? Playing gigs there, like sort of.
This amazes me. I don't live very far from there, really. It's just along the coast from us in Portsmouth. But I tend to think of it as just a sort of, I don't know, place full of thatched cottages and old people.
Yeah.
Yeah, a pretty town. Yeah, I mean, I think it's got 21 odd pubs within like the 2 miles of the centre or something, and so it's just got. And depending on kind of who's owned the pubs over the years, there's always been a kind of like a group of people knocking around who are making music there and having fun and drinking lots of beer and going to
What's your favourite genre, Tegan? What's your go-to music?
Oh, you're testing me now, Sam. I just like anything really that's good. Like I think I don't have too many too many boundaries. I like something a bit different, but I think maybe it will come through in my selections, but I like a bit of polyphony and polyrhythm and something that tells my hips to go one way and my shoulders to go the other way. That's, as long as it does that, I'm happy. Or if it makes me weep a bit as well, I'm okay with that.
If it does all of it, it's
everything at once. That's
amazing. What's your next piece of music, Michael?
I couldn't really decide. Hold on, wait. Let me. Well.
Oh, is it an in the moment decision?
It's an awe.
Yeah. Because obviously we've got to like sit around and act as if we've just listened to it. Okay. I can't really pick, so I think I'm gonna pick. Probably pronounce it wrong, but Joga by Bjork, which I think, I don't know, the other one, there's so many tracks I could pick. I just pick one. I don't know, again, like sort of maybe just as a representative of like some of all the amazing stuff that was coming through in the 90s, like just so many good bands, and again, being like sort of a 12-year-old, like really receptive to stuff coming through. Maybe I was a bit younger than that. And then my mum bringing stuff back from art college, and loads and loads of good bands. I could name a lot, but she was sort of, I don't know, she's sort of just with this track as well. You can hear in it like the way the drums are. Yeah. They're like still like you would hear that today and think that's like really experimental. But then over the top of that is just an incredible like orchestral arrangement, and then obviously Bjork, and then just amazing lyrics, and great singing.
Love Bjork.
Yeah, she's great. Like, great.
I love her.
Not all of it, but when she, I don't know, some of the good stuff she's done is like some of the best stuff around. I think. I
think it's the first gig that we kind of went to together when we saw recording as well, isn't it? So
although we weren't. I was up in the evening.
Yeah, well, it was one of those gigs where the tickets went in
it was
6 seconds. So we were all like on comms trying to get tickets, and we ended up with 3 downstairs and 3 up in the roof.
Yeah.
Which we ended up being separated, but it was lovely.
Brilliant. Okay, so what's this track called?
Joga. Maybe it's pronounced yoga. I don't know.
Yoga. Yeah, could be. Okay.
Icelandic.
All these accidents that happen, follow the dot. Coincidence makes sense only with you. You don't have to speak. I feel emotional landscapes. They pass on me. The riddle gets solved. And you push me up to this state of emergency. How beautiful to be state of emergency is where I want to be. inside of me. Ooh, you don't have to speak. I feel emotional landscapes. They pass on me. I confuse. Can the riddle get solved? And you push me up to this state of emergency. How beautiful to be state of emergency is where I want to be. State of emergency. How beautiful to be. Emotional landscapes. They pass on me. The riddle gets solved, and you push me up to this state of emergency. How beautiful to be state of emergency is where I want to be. State of emergency. How beautiful to be. State of emergency.
Let's ask some questions from the Deevstock crew. It was Chris Hosting, I should say, who wanted to know how you met,
Yeah.
not Ben. So Ben has asked, what is your dream festival to perform at? Obviously, Deevstock to one side.
Yeah.
So either together or separately.
Dream festival to perform at. I mean, I don't know.
I've got two answers.
Go on, you go while I think.
So yeah, it depends what, like for like a full band setup, like practically like Glastonbury, like you know, just massive, like and I don't know, maybe yeah, but then like also there's another one called Free Rotation, which
Oh yes, you put me onto that actually.
yeah, I think that's just yeah, just has such like an intensity to it, and it's a lot smaller, more intimate. But yeah, great sound systems and really good like electronic music, some quite genre bending stuff, but also just some you know, some techniques. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think probably those two. I'd play anywhere. I honestly,
Yeah, frankly, at the moment,
like,
anywhere.
yeah, wherever, like, you know,
Yeah, I think Glastonbury was the first thing that came into my head as well. But you know, honestly, like, yeah, the second thought was that somewhere that would be like a bit of a holiday, a bit less like England, would probably be quite nice. Maybe one of the nice Lisbon festivals, or over to Croatia, you know, somewhere with a bit of a different.
There's some great festivals in Croatia. There's Hideout, isn't there, that I hear good things about.
Yeah.
And also Origins in South Africa. which
Wow.
is in February, I think. And I always wanted to go to Tribal Gathering in Panama. Although, gosh, there was the story of being stuck there during the beginning of the pandemic. I knew people that were in there.
I think there's people still there, isn't there? Like,
Are there people still there? They
now
never
it's like-
got out.
yeah.
It must have been. I mean, I knew somebody who managed to get out the day before she got home because she was ill. She had to go
Right.
home. She had a terrible stomach upset. And Chris Williams from Noisily, I don't know if you know Chris, he actually had to fake his this date on his passport to show that he'd been in the country before or after or something, and
Wow.
escaped from the festival on the back of a truck or something. I can't remember the story, but it was very Chris. But yeah, I mean, it's like you think, oh, how amazing to be stuck in paradise, but I should think it was absolutely awful, because I mean, who the hell had any money or clothes or
Yeah.
and it was weeks that they were stranded there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think I saw like I don't know, maybe it was like a Vice documentary or something, like not even that long ago, and there's people who are still there, I think. Like,
Oh really? I thought you were joking. God.
No, like I'm not. It was.
Are they treating it more like the beach, or like, or
Yeah.
No, I think they're just like, yeah, it's great. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I need to rewatch it. Like, I can't remember.
Or maybe you find that it was actually a story from like last September or something.
Yeah, I might have seen it in a film. Yeah, I mean, my memory is shocking. So, like, I mean, it could have been anything really. Like, yeah, just like the line between Netflix and reality is quite blurry.
It is. I think that's a bit of a lockdown effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
For sure. So Dream Festival, and also we have Rodney's asked an interesting question actually. What things do you most enjoy about live music? Now I took that to mean both playing live, because I want to talk about your studio jams as well, but also enjoying live music as a punter. What is it that's live? What, you know, why do you play live, and what excites you about it?
Well, I guess kind of front and center is the kind of full body experience of it, isn't it? It's really nice for something to, and I mean more as a punter than as a player. Although I do find it a full body experience as a player. It's not quite as pleasant for me.
Yeah.
I'm not the most. I'm a bit of a nervous performer, I guess. So,
Really, you would never know. As always is the case, whenever anybody says, "Oh my god, I'm so nervous," you can't tell.
We both are like just really like shit it before doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that doesn't, to be fair.
No,
Unless you
yeah.
got absolutely trashed, in which
Yeah.
case things could go badly wrong anyway.
Yeah,
That's when you
yeah.
should be nervous. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But just having, you know, even if you've got like a really fat surround sound, it's difficult to recreate that kind of sense of music being just
Yeah.
omnipresent, isn't it? Like, yeah, and feeling it in your feet and your belly. That's a special thing.
I guess it's like, yeah, the difference between watching a film at home and your laptop, and then going to the cinema and watching a film,
Or like being in the world,
or being in the film. Yeah. So
Yeah. I love watching people doing things. I love watching people doing things they're good at.
Yeah.
For sure. Whether it's playing an instrument or DJing or
Grouting.
yeah, grouting, yes, anything.
Master grouter.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And then Deevstock has that special layer, doesn't it? Because it's people that you really know and like and love who are kind of doing these things.
Yeah, and I've said this, I think, probably on every single episode of Dovetails, and is that the quality of people is incredible. You know, really, really amazing. For sure.
And good music as well. Like I think, like, I just wish I could drag more friends along. Like, you know, everyone's got like such limited time budgets now. They're like, this thing and this thing and this thing, and that's kind of it done. But like, I don't know, like sometimes, some of the stuff I've heard at Deevstock, like especially, I don't know, it's just really interesting. Like,
yeah, and it was always something that the first couple of years, I was invited through Joe and Ray, and I was kind of put off by the multi-genre thing, because I can be a bit, you know, we like what we like, don't we?
I don't know,
and actually I've really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed the whole opening your eyes to, you can get very stuck into a certain type of music, can't you, or think that you are interested in a certain type of music. And I'm with you, Tegan. I think there's an element of every genre that I like, and it's not all of every genre, but there's
Yeah.
something in everything that, and I think that's what makes it interesting, whether things cross over, and
Yeah.
for sure, yeah. So
Yeah.
what's good about live for you, Michael? We kind of covered it all.
Kind of, yeah, similar, like, you know, just, yeah, like loud. I like it when it's really, you know, I'm a bit pedantic about like production quality, not in terms of the tracks, but like in terms of like the speakers and stuff. It really bugs me when you go to a gig and like they haven't set it up properly, and then it's just like it's being mangled. But when it's done really well, it's just like, yeah, it's amazingly transformative.
Yeah.
You also get like, there's something about being in a crowd, isn't there? Like where you
I can't remember.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah.
I just had a flashback to like, oh, I remember when and other people like it as well at the same time as
Yeah.
you, and you get that buzz. Like,
Well,
oh,
I think
it's been a while.
yeah, I think there's something very you know, you get into kind of like what the roots of what is music, like, and you know, and I think it's multifunctional, like, but certainly when you look at kind of the fact that like almost every tribe in the, you know, I don't know if you ever watched that program Tribe. That was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Spend time with all these different tribes, and you know, like, they're very different cultures, but you know, there are a lot of like analogues in each one. They'd all have like some kind of intoxicant.
Yeah.
They all have like all these rituals, and a lot of the time, you know, music would feature quite heavily, and I think there's something quite there's different types of music. I think, you know, there's stuff which is more like songbird stuff, where it's sort of like a wooing type thing, but then there's other stuff which I think like where the dance music fits in a bit more, and it's much more kind of which is kind of quite tribal, and it's sort of like, it's like building cohesion in a group.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're a super organism, and there's something about, yeah, the crowd and the interaction where like yeah, just sort of the music kind of can synchronize everyone in some weird way that's kind of like maybe it was useful in prehistoric times, like where
Yeah.
okay, right, let's go off, and you know, you kind of get in sync in a group and go off and like hunt I don't know, a mammoth or something. Like, you know,
Or maybe it was just jolly good fun.
always just good fun. Yeah, I have a habit of overthinking things, but like
No, this is not something that is news to many people, I think.
no, okay, yeah.
Anyone who knows you.
Long story short, yeah, like being in a crowd and yeah, and then so actually, yeah, sorry to waffle on, like, because you can always edit me out like that, which is the beauty of this. Like, so yeah, but yeah, one of the tracks I almost picked but didn't pick because, you know, it's difficult, was actually something. So I remember this was a Glastonbury 2016. I woke up like face down in my tent, like after like being up all night partying, like maybe like got back to the tent at like, you know, 8 or 9 a.m. like, and then like slept a bit, and then just, this was the morning of Brexit, like, and I just heard everyone chattering about it, like, you know, and just like, oh god, and it was just this intensely emotional, and I'd just come out of like quite like a long relationship, like broken up with someone, and I just basically had like a summer of festivals. But this, yeah, I just remember just waking up, and then like out over all of this kind of atmosphere echoed like you know, I was like, I can't remember what stage I was sleeping there, but just kind of echoing out like this amazing music. Whereas there's a band called Hertz, which is actually quite a cheesy band.
I like Hertz, actually.
Yeah. But they had I'd never heard of them before, but they had like the London House gospel choir with them, and so it's like, it was just like it was almost like sort of like really like emotional, but like kind of quite, yeah, just sort of world ending, and it was just echoing out and just drew me in. I like, yeah, I was just kind of like, wow.
So that was one you haven't chosen to share with us.
Yeah, I regret it now. Like, yeah, maybe I'll tack it on, and like, because it's actually the specific live recording from Glastonbury, which is on YouTube.
Right.
Maybe I'll tag a link or something, and
yeah, that would be great.
I'll show you the time it's from, and it's just like, wow, like really amazing. Like, but yeah, it's like, so yeah, like, long story short, there's, you know, something quite transformative about the whole.
Yeah, very powerful, and hopefully it won't be long until we can do that again. Well, so indeed, I've lost track of whose music we've listened to. We got one more track each, haven't we? Yes, Tegan, yours. You're up next. So your final pick for us.
My final pick is, I guess, my first true love in electronic music, although not in the dance style that we're thinking about, which is Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead. And yeah, I love Radiohead. I just love them so much. Again, like I was saying, like all the songs that came through when you asked this question that kind of like pinged to the top of my mind were things that have made me kind of just have to stop and listen and take stock. And this was when I was sort of, I must have been like, I think I was 18, so I just passed my driving test, and yeah, just come out of the petrol station at Tesco, and my brother had left the Kid A CD in the car, and so I pressed play, and and I'd never heard it before, and I just had to pull into the lay-by and just kind of let it all wash over me, all the polyrhythms and polyphonies and beautiful kind of harmonies that just like, yeah, make me go, like, they kind of make you want to, they make you want to cry, but they make you want to fly a bit as well, like, so it's just glorious. I love it. And yeah, anyone who's heard me wail my own songs probably realises it's a bit of a heartstring tug in my style as well. So yeah, maybe that harks back to them. But people always, like, for years, people said to me, like, oh, you know, Radiohead, don't you find it a bit depressing? I thought, no, not at all, no. It's like amazingly uplifting. I think I get what they mean now, but yeah.
we should talk about your own music making and production. We haven't talked about that at all. So you've been doing studio jams together, haven't you? Tell us all about that.
Well, we've done one so far. We'd like to do more. It's like kind of
We recorded, isn't it?
one we recorded. We've been working like really, both of our jobs have been really demanding. Like lucky us, I guess. Like
yeah, I know what you mean. It's bittersweet, isn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully, we're going into a period where like it calms down again. But yeah, like basically, it's something I've been trying to think about, like how to do for a while. Like it's just kind of Ableton at the center, but I think actually like the breakthrough was like buying like an external drum machine, like, and it's just kind of like having like a term, like, and then we've got like a couple of synthesizers, and then like guitar, like a microphone. So I'm getting into the technical side of it, but like, but I think the revelate, like everything, like working, kind of trying, like, and like I basically spent some time configuring it all so it's ready to go. Like whereas like sometimes if you try and collaborate with someone, you can just kind of get like into the details, and if it's just one person clicking with a mouse, it's not very engaging for the other person. Like, so like having like things like all of these terminals set up where anyone can just jump on and just go, you know, then it kind of gets, you can kind of get like get the ideas out quickly. And that whole thing didn't take us very long, like at all. Like,
so you basically just you're in the room and you're just you've no idea what you're going to do. You've got various presets and things loaded up, and then you'll just both jump about pressing things and see what happens.
Basic, sort of,
We did do a dry run for that one. But I think the only reason we did was because it didn't record properly, or you'd set your something to loop, so it was only recording 2 minutes, and we had to do it again.
This was the one that was more had a breakbeat kind of feel.
But that was, which was okay, because that kind of when we had a go to get into the flow of it.
Yeah, and just to qualify, like we did sort of like it's hailing now. Wow.
Yeah, I hope it's not really.
It's always hailing. I went
for a walk yesterday in bright sunshine, and then it started raining, and then it was hailing, and it was actually stinging me. I was just like, trying to be mindful in it. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
But yeah, and then like I think just to caveat, like we did sort of like come up with like the bass line and like a little loopy bit, you know, like to start with, but then thought it'd be fun like for a video. It didn't do a great job of it. I think we'll get better, like just redoing that on the fly. But the whole
so it's actually the arrangement is improvised then.
All the guitar and vocals were just like
it's just what
completely off the cuff, like
yeah.
And they just thought that's just quite a fun way of generating stuff, and try and do more. And then for the other one, I think I've sent you a preview. Like the first one, I did just on my own, like, but as a test, it's just literally a tester. Then I was able to kind of like mix it down a little bit better afterwards, like, because you know it's very hard to do that, like get it sounding nice, but you just capture all the stems and then give it a mix. And maybe that would be a fun way to kind of generate.
I'm feeling like we should think about having some kind of improv workshop at Deevstock. Just have everything set up, and then people could just come in and jam.
That sounds really fun.
And we could then, like, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
It would. I'm always a bit like not intimidated by the knobs and buttons, but honestly, like, you know, there's so many things to learn what they do that it's just a bit like, I might have a cup of tea. It's really nice, that setup, because you can kind of just play with small things and like see what effect you're having, and
my problem is I'll make a change, certainly with mine, because I know that I have the same synth as you. Well, I think mine's slightly
bad,
but I mean, I'm sure I'm only using very basic things of it, but I find I change things and then I can never get it back sounding like it was before, because it's a living thing, you know, you can never quite get it back.
So Brian Eno talks about this, like he's, I can't remember what he said. Great anecdote.
Right. Excellent telly.
Like, he's tried this, like, you know, he's been in sessions with like bands and stuff, and like, God, this amazing sound. And he says, just don't, like, you know, kind of let it go, like, you know, like, because you just drive yourself insane, like doing that, like, and but try and capture it. I like it. Work with audio, right? Like, and like with synthesizers. So I've got like a Model D thing which doesn't have any presets. you just twist the knobs and that's the sound you get, which is great because I think with the core thing, like you have and I have, like when you select a preset, you don't know what the knobs are doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you can't. But whereas with this thing, because there's no presets, so what you see is always what you get. Like, and that's like, and if you leave it there, it sort of stays there. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Because I've no idea. Once you load a preset in, you don't know what everything is set to, and so I mean it's an interesting thing to reflect on, actually, how our culture of editing and capturing, recording, re-recording, filtering, all of those types of things, it's a bigger cultural motif, isn't it? How that actually changes the idea of music being in the moment. I mean, I suppose that goes back to the live thing as well. And when you're playing your guitar and singing, that's it, you know. And I guess you're both, that's what I see as uniting you both musically, is that in the moment improvised. It's quite a brave thing to do. It's very cool.
Thanks very much. Thanks. But yeah, I completely, like, that resonates with me a lot, because I've tried to record my stuff quite often, and I find it so stressful. Like, there's just some little thing about you don't like it, and you do it again, and then there's something else, and again, I just wander off and have a cup of tea and do something else, because it's like I don't find it a recording process. But I do like playing live, and like just the throwaway nature of it, and the fact that if it goes wrong, then it's like it's happened, but it hasn't been immortalized. I'll accept that probably.
This is something that the pandemic has done, hasn't it? Is everything is there. I mean, I found that in my own work, in my day job, teaching and giving presentations. I mean, we used to have brown bag lunches where all us researchers would come in and just chat about research, and now everyone's saying, oh, can you record it? And I'm like, no.
Off the record.
Exactly. And I don't, if I accidentally get a bit ranty, I mean, I did actually in a presentation I gave, and I got really, it was there was a female DJ that was in the crowd, as it were, and she just said something had happened to her, and I was so cross, and so I swore, and of course that's there forever, and it's actually got an explicit language warning on the beginning of my presentation, and I'm like, oh God.
That's all right. I think well, I once swore in like my friends asked me to play their wedding, and I accidentally swore in the church. Like,
oops.
It just slipped out, and then like everyone
the big thunderbolt came down.
I didn't get smited. I don't make of that what you will. Right.
Okay, we've got a couple more questions I want to ask you, but before that, let's have your final track, Mike.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, right, yeah.
This was a car track as well, wasn't it? The car is a great big space for listening to music, isn't it?
Good, yeah.
It really is all encompassing if you've got good speakers, and I love it.
I think also, like, what is it? Something on Radio 4, like, saying about like certain genres of music are more dangerous to listen to whilst driving. I think drum and bass carries the highest accident rate, like, of any genre, because like people like
we used to have to turn the hard house off in the car years and years ago when my kids were little, because they just used to start fighting. 150 BPM, 145 BPM, the hard house, and they'd go hyper in the back seat, and I had to turn it off. So sorry, yes, your third track.
I know, so so this one's a bit more throwaway, because obviously the others are a bit more, intense or whatever. But this is just something that came on when I don't know if I was driving, maybe I was driving, but I've listened to it while I was driving. I don't necessarily recommend it because it's, it's called Shifter, I think, Beat MC Chickaboo, and it's by Timo Maas. It's like a breaks track.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I used to really like breaks, actually. Like, I still really like breaks, but there was a time, I think, again, when I was at university, where like there were a lot of breaks going on. In London
in the 2000s.
Yeah, and I remember going to something like maybe a few years ago, like I can't remember where it was. Oh, it was at, what do they call it? Oh, is it Great Suffolk Street Warehouse? Like it was like a car park, like where they've just got these tunnels. And I remember just chatting to my friend in the queue, and I was like, oh yeah, I think I remember going to like a breaks night here, like 10 years ago or something, and the guy turned around in the queue and, what's breakbeat? Like,
really?
Yeah, like just sort of like in a really snarky way, and I was like, oh, I just Oh, good. Yeah,
everything-
maybe just that one.
Everything ends up with a bit of a breakbeat in it for me. It's that funky edge. I love it. Yeah. Okay, so let's listen to Team Us.
Thrill seeker, heartbreaker, a shapeshifter, a secret keeper. You know I love to see ya all the time, shaking down, moving with the sound. You know we like to turn it up loud. Right, we're stepping up and dance up, moving up and get yo. You know we're riding up and then go. Move your body, baby. Alright, we're moving up and inside. And then to right, move your body, baby. The bass and line, moving with the ride. The homebrew, a shapeshifter, a secret keeper. I love to see you moving it up, to up and down, yeah. Shake your body down, yeah. I'm moving with the sound, we bring it loud, yeah. We're moving up and inside. I'm feeling high up on life. I'm feeling good tonight, right? And there's a strange vibe, don't know what it is. And let's check inside. Open it, space is too tight. Right. Hey, you know, somebody say hello. You know it's time to go, say flow. So a different kind of style, you never know, never right. We're so slick, we slip and slide and ride. The same. Move your body, baby. Hey, alright, we're moving up and inside. And then to right, move your body, baby. The bass and line, moving with the ride. So the same, move your body, baby. Alright, we're moving up and inside. And then to right, move your body, baby. The bass and line, moving with the ride. Heartbreaker, a shapeshifter, a secret keeper. You know I love to see ya. Make it time, slip and slide with the right soul. This is how we flow. The same, but move your body, baby. Alright, we're moving up and inside. And then to right, move your body, baby. The bass and line, moving with the ride. The same, but move your body, baby. Alright, we're moving up and inside. And then to right, move your body, baby. The bass and line, moving with the ride.
So what's next with the live stuff? Are you going to, have you got plans for this together or not yet?
So
a lot of our main plans kind of focus a bit around moving out of where we currently are, which is it's great. This is a lovely house, but we've been here quite a while, and the end room where all the studio stuff is a bit mouldy and a bit kind of grim in the winter, and it's just a bit like, we kind of like, it's slightly like, and this was going to be a stopgap house anyway. We were thinking like a year here and then somewhere else. We've been here 3 because not least because of the pandemic. So it's kind of been a bit of a focus. Like Friday is usually night's music day, but yesterday we were off seeing a house somewhere, and it kind of like taken over a little bit. But the plan is for next house to have like a really big, dedicated, beautiful studio room that we can, and not that it's about that, obviously, you know, the music's kind of inside or something and not about the surroundings, but it really helps, you know, to have
it does, because you need to leave stuff out. You need to have enough space to do what it is you need to do. I do think that. I that was my thing. I always thought maybe I was making excuses when I first started learning to produce music, was I haven't really got a space to do it in. And as soon as this was finished, it made a huge difference. I could just go and shut myself out here and you know, do stuff. So and not have to pack up for dinner time because I was on the table.
No, that's really difficult. If you haven't got like a static space.
Very, very fortunate, very blessed. This is on my grateful list every single day that I have this space, especially during the pandemic. But on to really important things to finish off. I think Christoph has asked a lovely question, which is, apart from music and each other, what really makes you feel alive? It's a very Christoph question, I think.
I just think I love Christoph. He's great. Maybe it's Christoph. Maybe that's my answer. But also, we do quite outdoorsy stuff. We quite like. There's a good trip we go on with our Deevstock buddy Willie each year, which he always organises, which is like canoeing down the River Wye, and like, you know, you start off in the morning, you have a few beers,
and then you go canoeing.
You go canoeing, 8 hours trip.
It's really amazing.
It's lush.
Not white water. No scary things.
Maybe
baby salmon.
Maybe. But you swim in the river. I mean, it's very polluted, I think, is the problem. Rivers.
No, it is. I mean, there is no doubt.
That sounds an amazing thing.
Getting in nature somehow, I think. Like jumping in the sea, like nothing makes you feel alive like getting in the sea.
So, have you been part of the? I mean, you live quite a long way from the sea at the moment, don't you? But there's been a lot of wild swimming going on, hasn't there? A lot of people have discovered, you know, year-round swimming. It seems to be that everybody's taking it up. And I was reading a book the other day where the woman was extolling the virtues for mental health of jumping in cold water, and it made me want to do it, I have to say.
Absolutely. I think we know quite a few people who've been telling us this, but also just anything like that. Like, didn't even get to the beach last year, really.
Oh gosh, I can't live. I can't live away from the sea. I can see the sea from my window, which is a source of constant joy. Even though it's weird, when I take a photo of it, it's like a tiny little strip. But when I look out of the window, that is all I see. And it changes all the time, that little strip. But so when you're feeling less alive, Christoph also wants to know, what is your favourite go-to food or snack? And that, as we're approaching lunchtime, that feels like a good point, good final question.
I don't know, it's a difficult one, because I think there's like food where like you think you want it and like you think it's going to be good, and you like,
that's such a waste. It's terrible, especially if it's really calorific and you're like, oh my God, what a waste.
How do I do that? Like, you know, and there's other food which is like is good to eat and also you feel good afterwards. So I think you've got a good answer for that one.
Well, like, what I'm thinking about now that you've asked is what I'm definitely going to make for lunch, which is like a big stack of got a nice stack steamer. You put make a little stock in the bottom, throw some noodles in there, stacks of vegetables on the top, maybe some dumplings in the steamer on the top steamer, and then make just like a big fat miso soup, maybe with some spice and stuff. And that is
wow, that's comfort food. So you actually put the stock in the bottom of the steamer?
Wow,
what a great idea. I've never thought of doing that.
Oh, it's brilliant. I do it like maybe 3 times a week. And it's just like anything where I stir miso in at the end just makes that's.
We had miso chicken last night, actually. We had a tray bake. I got a book for my birthday, which is amazing, by Rukmini Eva, and it's the roasting tin. She does a range of them, and this one was it was delicious. It was chicken thighs with, if you eat meat, with miso and all sorts of yummy shallots and things, and it was yum.
Good stuff.
So that's very good as a go-to.
I have the other end of the scale as well.
Good. I was going to say,
which is the bad. Like, so that one, we'll eat that, and then you like kind of brings you sort of back to life. Whereas sometimes, you know, one part of your brain wins, because we're predominantly vegan, but every so often, like, we kind of have a relapse
Cheap burger.
I think like a big stack of like nachos that you put in.
Oh, yeah.
Like each layer I put like cheese and also like garlic and then loads of jalapenos.
Just make it
That is actually making me salivate. I love nachos.
You eat that and you just sweat crap afterwards. Like, like you're just like, why did I do that? Like,
I love bread. I love bread. And Tesco's do a cranberry, raisin and cashew nut bread, I think it is. I could eat the whole loaf with loads of butter on it, but it just makes me basically go into a diabetic coma. All bread does. It's it's such a shame because I always feel cold and sleepy afterwards. So I never learned though. I still eat it.
I know, like I don't understand. Yeah, there's just human beings are just ridiculous, aren't they? Like, it's like this will make you feel good and this will make you feel bad. But I don't know.
Yeah, which one do we choose?
The high you get from eating bad food is so short-lived as well. Like,
sugar,
what is it? I don't know.
Well,
maybe if you eat all the time, like
there are
constantly.
definitely things that are like good in your mouth and bad in your stomach, and then there's stuff that's like the other way around. But like I think when you hit the sweet spot of in the middle where you can't stop eating it, but it's actually
I was like yesterday I binge ate 3 peppermint arrows. I have got a real thing about peppermint arrows at the moment. And they were only the 1 sticks. It wasn't like a whole.
I was imagining.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but there were 3 of them, and it was there's something very, very Moorish and addictive about the mint taste, I think, and I just kept going and getting another one, and but that was still like 800 calories of chocolate and my entire week's sugar in there.
You need to buy smaller and smaller bars of chocolate so that you can still have half a bar and feel like
feel sanctimonious. Yes,
exactly.
Okay, so having finished off on food, it's made me really hungry. We can go and have some lunch now, although when this is airing obviously it will be probably will still be tea time because I think it should go out about 5ish on a Saturday. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been lovely to see you and lovely to chat.
Thanks Sam.
Lovely to see you too.
And take care. Bye.
Cheers. Goodbye. Sweet.